Pitch Perfect 2012. Firstly, notice this has a much higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 81, and IMDb, 83. So I know, I've seen it back in the day. I saw it in 2012 when it was out in the cinemas, or would it have been the start of 2013? Around that time, anyway. It was, I have to check. But I saw it last night on streaming just to remind me of what a great film it was. I really liked it, um, more than I was expecting to see it all over again because there's often a lot of detail. When you watch a film again, there's all the detail of everything about a film that can easily go, especially after like 12 plus years. Um, Now, I suppose I remembered some of the corny stuff like the acca, using acca as a word in front of everything, not academic, but a cappella. So acca everything, acca police. Um, I gather this film Pitch Perfect was based on a book of the same name, but with the subtitle "The Quest for Collegiate A Cappella Glory." And no, I've not heard of that before, but the particular um, rival groups in this film are based on, to some extent, maybe loosely inspired by uh, Tufts University, Beetlebuds, Bubs, and a few other Virginia Hula something like that. So they're the actual names of the group. I thought I'd look them up because knew nothing about whether it was a totally fictional story or whether it was inspired by real life, and it turns out it's the latter. And that actually makes it more enjoyable because um, I don't know of anything like this, a cappella groups in the UK, but the thought of all these talented people in the US at colleges really fills me with joy. I think anyone who can sing, who can dance. I like all the uh, dance films like Step Up as well, and plan to review some of those at some point. But on this particular film, revisiting it, I really like Hannah Kendrick. I first saw her in, or first remember seeing her in, um, what was it called? Oh, blimey. It was the film with George Clooney, Up in the Air, 2010. Um, and that was at a time that I was facing a possible job crisis. So that really struck a chord. It was soon after I'd actually resolved the job crisis I was in at that point, and it resonated a great deal. And Anna Kendrick was a fairly comic character in that. And this particular film, she plays fairly shy wannabe music producer. She wants to go to the West Coast. She makes mashup. She's got all these computer software things on several monitors, like really sophisticated stuff. She's very talented, the character Becca, but she's also uh, well, being shy. She's got a roommate who's kind of slightly hostile, or at least not particularly friendly. And then there's her father, who is a resident of the university and keeps calling by and trying to encourage her to get involved, and she's not that keen. But she does join the academics fair, which I think is a bit like a freshers fair in the UK university scene. Um, and she, so she's got all these ideas. She doesn't like her father invigilating her space, as she always like moves away. I mean, she certainly doesn't like whom he's married to, stepmom or stepmonster, I think she calls her. So anyway, that's the background. I would say the main character is Becca, but there's a whole pile of other characters because, of course, the Bellas are one of the main bands, and we see them right at the start. Um, there's Skylar Astin who plays Jessie. Is pretty outgoing, wants to be in film. There's Rebel Wilson, who describes herself as Fat Amy, and she does that to avoid being called that name behind her back. Um, there's Adam Devine, who's like Bumper, and now he's in a rival group. The troublemakers, there's a pun. There's Anna Posen, again, part of the leader of the Bellas. Anna Camp plays Aubrey, and right at the start of this opening scene, it's the previous year's um, competition. The worst thing about this whole film is there are a couple of really gross projectile vomiting scenes. I can't stand that sort of stuff. I wish it didn't happen. That's one of the things that largely put me off seeing this for so long, watching it again. But I did. I just have to kind of stomach it. Hate it. Really, really don't like I am emetophobic. Like, I don't like bodily fluids. I've explained that a bit in other films, so I tend to avoid it, but it's unavoidable in this film, and it's more than once. There's another scene a bit later on where there's this is I mean, it's done in humor, but it's like, the same young woman, Aubrey, uh, throws up everywhere, on the practice area. And then one of the other characters, who is it? Oh gosh, um, Lily. Uh, um, she's very softly spoken, played by Hannah May Lee. Um, she seems like possible, uh, very intimidating in some ways, but she has got some skills. She's a beatboxer, but she's so soft spoken that she's hardly heard. She comes across very meek at the start, but in this second vomit scene, she's making a snow angel in the vomit. It's just like, I mean, how gross is that? You can't unsee that sort of thing. Um, I don't know. I mean, um, but once you get over that, there's the music is awesome. I think the talent, the a cappella singing, there's the harmonies. I just think it is absolutely beautiful, and I love it, and I wish I could sing like that. And it actually inspires me to at least try. I could certainly improve my voice. Maybe I could do that in some vlogs or something else just to see if I get anywhere. Because years ago I did try singing. I've tried that several times in the past. Don't think I necessarily got much further, but I think, never give up hope. So, um, it's an idea, isn't it? Um, there's Cynthia Rose. She's another character. There's Stacy. Oh, Stacy is like quite, I guess, sex positive, but then there's Cynthia Rose is like the lesbian character in the film. I mean, at one point, someone says, like, "There's 10 of us, so one of us must be LGBTQIA plus," or something like that. Well, she doesn't say that. "One of us must be lesbian," something like that, she says. Um, and then they they start looking at Cynthia Rose. I mean, and there's all these sort of slightly crass jokes. I mean, just feels slightly dated in a very 2012 way, as in, um, um, I mean, dated, I say, and yet it's the sort of stuff that's probably going to come back, given how anti-gay, anti-LGBTQIA plus culture in the USA is going. We're taking backward steps in the UK as well, but someone says "dude" about her, and then someone when she takes off her hat and it's obvious she's a woman, um, she's one of the some chap goes, "Not a dude." It's just like, well, um, I don't get those. Why you have to have those jokes like that? I mean, sure, okay, it's nothing really. I mean, but there's jokes like that throughout films. I mean, she isn't that non-femme presenting. I mean, she is and she isn't. She's mildly butch, I would say. But I don't know. Just my observations. I'd like to know other people's observations because it's just how I take it. Especially now, I probably went more with the flow back at that time, and now I tend to look at things a bit more critical because I'm looking at things more through a queer eye, as in LGBTQIA plus, and thinking what jokes are acceptable, what aren't. I mean, I don't know. It's not unacceptable jokes like that, but it just seems pointless. So there's oh yeah, perhaps the more crass people are the two. They're almost like news anchors. There's John and Gail, played by John Michael Higgins and Elizabeth Banks, and they give commentary um, very much like American news anchors of proceedings when the sing-offs are underway, while all these a cappella groups are competing, especially when they're at national level. Um, and they make pretty crass comments, and I think they do it throughout Pitch Perfect as a franchise. It isn't just limited to this first one. And of course, John's a bit worse, and then Elizabeth's a bit like the foil. I mean, she's not. Oh, I don't know. But I think the humour is very 2012. It's like uh, a decade old at least, and um, there's also some mention, I think, by the father, Becca's father, about where he says, uh, and I know you want to be the next P. Oh, I'm not going to say the name of the. I almost started saying the name of a character who was in a court case last week, who was acquitted of some things and found guilty of others. And I don't want to say the names of people, um, especially if they are convicted. And I don't know. I mean, it makes I'm aware of some of the songs that have been bleeped out. Oh gosh, what song was it? There was this um oh gosh, there was a particular song that doesn't feature in this film, but where the music is edited out, the actual words are edited out. It's something like, oh gosh, it's right at the start of the song. It's TikTok is the name of the song, Keisha. Um, And I think there's other songs as well that have been edited where they actually mention this particular rapper, and in newer versions, they've removed his name because of the court case, the allegations, everything that came out last year. And of course, in a film, I don't suppose you can do that. You can do it with a song that's only 3 minutes long, you can do a new version. But I always wonder about that because over the years, we get to find out awful sordid details about um, people who've done the most nefarious things, really awful things. And you can edit it out of music, you can remove from playlists. It's much more difficult with films, of course. I mean, what do you do with films? I mean, you can boycott films completely, uh, like a certain um, Wizard franchise, let's just say that. I mean, I don't particularly want to ever even mention the name of particular people who I feel are doing damage to other people, people I care about. So I just don't mention their names and won't go and see their films and do my utmost best to make sure that I don't give a penny towards any further ventures from them. And of course, there's a lot of pressure on uh, the actors who are getting involved. Quite rightly, there's pressure against these actors because any new franchise is going to bring more money um, to allow that particular person to make a case. Anyway, that I'm going right off the on a tangent on that, aren't I? So, and I'm doing all this live, so I can't even um, remove it. But um, and so it really more fits in with my Cali Cataflog um, thing. Um, so, getting back to the music and getting back to this particular film, the music is awesome. The content warning on the vomit, well, it happens a couple times, once near the start and once in the middle, and then there's a sort of clip where it's been copied and you see it a bit, and it's splashing up on the screen in that case. It's really gross. Um, Now, the there's a fairly strong heteronormative feel about the film apart from Cynthia Rose, and that's good that she's in this film, so appreciate that, but almost everything else is very, cis and straight. Um, and, um, then there's what else is there? Well, I just loved how they match pitch the sort of nerd alert humor of the lads, the sort of some of the stereotypes are a bit icky, um, and again very 2012, but there's a certain mood about this film which I I love, and I would reckon I haven't checked what I wrote back in 2012. But I think I just scored it 9 out of 10, and I still think it deserves 9 out of 10, so that's my current score for this film. So I'd love to know what you think about this. Please like if you like this review. Thanks for subscribing. Please hit the notification button. Please leave comments. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.